Okay guys, so now let's move to question 3.4, and we're given a statement. It reads as follows: if A, B, C, D is a kite with AB equals 2 BC. Question number 3.4.1 says determine the coordinates of C. So this is the first question of 3.4. Remember guys, we are still on this diagram, so I'll actually refer to the diagram that I've drawn in order to explain this question. So now the question said determine the coordinates of C. So remember guys, they've just indicated that AB it's equals to BC, which means point T it's halfway between A and C. So that's where you use the midpoint formula. I'll just write it down. I assume at this stage you know that. Let me just indicate there that we are now on 3.4.1. The midpoint formula, it's x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So what it basically means guys is that if you've got a line which is, let's say in this case, line A and B, just as an example, doesn't necessarily mean that it's from there to there. I'm not in any way referring to that diagram. So this is just for an example. You can regard this as additional mini lesson, just so that you have a good understanding before we start with answering that question. So what it means is that for you to be able to calculate the midpoint of point A and B, you should be having x1 and x2 of the point A, and again x1, sorry, this is y1, so you should also be having what is it, this is going to be x2 and y2 of point B. So for you to be able to calculate the midpoint, you have to add these two values and divide them by 2. When you divide them by 2, then it takes you to a point which is in between. So it doesn't matter whether the line is at that angle. It could be, let's say, A, B, C, D, E, F. Let's say it's E, F. For as long as you're required to calculate the midpoint of that point E and F, you should be having the x1 and the y1, the x2 and the y2. So with regards to the x, you're going to add the x1, which is that one on the formula, and add it with the x2. In that way, you divide them by 2. That's when you're going to get the x value at that point. So in terms of the y values, you just do the same. You add y1 plus y2, you divide them by 2, then that's where you'll be able to get the y value at a midpoint of these 2 points. So I've just indicated, I'm sure you understand very well that even if a line was in that direction or that angle, as long as it's a 0.1, 0.2, and you calculate the midpoint, you use the same formula. So that means the x at midpoint, it's equals to x of the first point plus x of the second point, you divide it by 2. Same for y. So y at the midpoint is equals to the first y plus the second y, you divide by 2. So this thing on its own it's a formula, guys. This thing on its own, it's a formula. So the examiner or the what do we call these guys who ask these questions in exam papers, whoever they are called, so they may not necessarily at all times request you to calculate the midpoint. They might give you the midpoint, they might ask you to calculate the midpoint and ask you to calculate the other point. So you just need to be aware that from the given statement or from the question itself, are you requested to calculate the midpoint or a point where you might use the midpoint formula to calculate that point? So I'm just trying to bring you closer to this question, guys. Can you see we've got point A, we've got the midpoint. So now the question wants us to calculate the coordinates of C. I hope you can see there. So the reason why I'm saying point T, it's halfway between these 2 points, is because they said if this is now let me check. I just want to refer to that statement so that you are able to see. They said if A, B, C, and D, which is A, B, C, and D, it's a kite. Obviously, that will mean AB will be equal to BC. So AB will be equal to BC. Then it means, this is also equal to that, just because it's a kite. So it obviously means when you connect these points, at that point where they intersect is the halfway between those 2 points, but it doesn't necessarily mean is the halfway between these 2 points. As you can see the shape of a kite there. So mine is not it's not drawn to scale, so I was just explaining based on the graph that I've drawn there in terms of the distance between B and D with reference to the point of intersection. So I think let me only emphasize on what the question wants. So I'm just going to quickly show you how you calculate I'll just wipe all of these. So I'll quickly show you how you calculate the coordinates of C. So remember, guys, so the x at T obviously is the x at the midpoint. It's equals to the x at A plus the x at C divided by 2. Okay, so the x at T, we already know. If you remember, we calculated it from the previous question and we said T is equals to 4 and 7. So we just substitute. What is the x at T? It's equals to 4, which is equals to the x at A, in brackets, it's -2, and then you add the x at C, you divide it by 2. So you're actually looking for the x at C. So this times that, it's equals to 8, which is equals to minus 2 plus x at C. You take it to the other side, so that means x at C, it's equals to, remember when you take it to that side, it becomes positive, you add it with 8, then it's 10. So that means x at T, it's 10. Okay, so we do the same for calculating the y at T. So the y at T, it's equals to the y at A plus the y at C over 2. So you substitute and follow the same procedure in terms of calculations. So the y at T, the y at T, it's 7. Let me just wipe there so that you are able to see. The y at C, it's equals to 7, which is equals to y at A. Remember to substitute it in brackets, then plus the y at c over 2. You multiply, it's 14, then it's 14. You move it to the other side, it becomes a positive, which is equals to y at c. So this plus that, it's equals to 9. So that means y at c is equals to 9. So that means y there, it's equals to 9. So in answering the question, guys, the coordinates of c, it's where x is equals to 10 and y is equals to 9. I hope that question was clear and straightforward. So this question was allocated 2 marks. I hope you are able to see that this is where you score your marks. So this question was easy as that, guys. We won't waste time on this one. We can now move to the next question. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. In case if you've got any additional questions, you can just comment on the comment section. And I assume the external sound that you hear, let's see, it's the lightning or the rain, it doesn't cause a disturbance. As long as you can be able to hear my voice and be able to relate what I'm writing with what I'm saying, then it's fine. I assume the external sound is not that bad. But otherwise, thanks for joining. My name is Desmond and I'm out.